If you were to write a book, what would you write about?
I have actually.
Oh, you have? Oh.
It's just that it's with my editors now.
Oh,
So
right.
you're going to be publishing soon.
Next year.
Awesome.
I made it really one that you can pick up and you don't need anyone teaching you because you can learn everything from the book itself.
Hey friends, welcome to another episode of the Learning Podcast. And if you aren't sure, it's a Singaporean podcast dedicated to learning something new from every single guest on this show. And the guest I have today, it's extremely big. She has written, I would say, probably hundreds of or even thousands of articles. She's one of the OG personal finance bloggers. She has been doing it for 11 years. And I actually came across one of her articles, and I'll say she also changed my life to a certain extent. Right? I was researching after graduation. How do I cut my taxes? Everything about SRS, CPF top-up, MediSave top-ups. Then I went on her website. Wow, it was really comprehensive, very good. Took some tangible steps. And the guest I have today is Dawn. Thanks so much for coming. Also known as SG Budget Babe. Yeah, so I think a few things I would love to cover in this podcast, right, is the power of writing. I really, really believe like the power of writing is something that anyone can have access to, and I think that obviously she is like a super seasoned writer, right? So I would love to learn a thing or two that she can share about writing in the past 11 years, and as well as her, in terms of her journey as a content creator as well. I think one fascinating thing I see from the outside world, right, is that she has a full-time job. She runs this super big channel. She also hires people to content create for her as well. So she's juggling many things. She's also a mom of 2 kids. And I think like, wow, there's so much on her plate, right? How do you really juggle? And I think that I'm pretty sure you can learn a thing or two when it comes to achieving your goals, being the best version of yourself, being a family person as well. I think that's some things I would love to discuss with her. So thanks so much, Dawn, for coming. And thanks so much, Chloe, for setting this up as well.
Thank you.
All right. I think the first question I would love to ask, right? I think in the previous podcast where Chloe actually talked to Dawn, right? You shared about how your husband was telling you that, hey, maybe you should try out writing finance, right? Could you really share the more details of this intricate story, right? Whether it comes to buying a domains, you had this viral hook. How do you sustain this viral momentum after you really got your first big hit? So for context, right, she wrote a first article, which is how to save $20,000 by...
How I saved $20,000 in a year.
Yeah, in a year, right? Which is, and keep in mind, right, this is 10, 11 years ago, right? So that's a lot of money. You can calculate the inflation to today's rate, right? So that's a lot of money, yeah. So how do you sustain the momentum afterwards in terms of like creating and gathering all those views?
To be fair, I didn't.
You didn't really? What was your thought process like? You've gone viral already, right? Then like, what's next?
Really, I didn't. I know like nowadays some people are very strategic about how they create content. They really think about like how to go viral, how to sustain, how to blow up. But for me, my beginnings was not like that. In fact, it's something for me to learn now about how to go viral because I've never really like done my content that way. You know, when that first blog article exploded overnight, I don't even know if the word viral was a thing back then. Yeah. And I didn't know how to react. Yeah, so I didn't even have a domain back then. It was blogspot.com. So I think it was really from a lot of reader feedback. And as like that blew up, then people were telling me that, hey, you should probably have your own domain. And I don't even think, I mean, my memory is a bit fuzzy, but I don't think I bought my domain until like almost 1 year later, you know.
Wow, and how many articles was there later?
Like much later. And I only migrated like much later as well. And even like designing my own, like in the beginning, I mean, I grew up during Neopet era, so a lot of my HTML I learned from Neopets. I designed the blog skin by using an existing template. You know, Blogger got a lot of those skins, ma. So you just take it, you edit some of the HTML, which is quite easy to understand if you play Neopets before. They just change like, I don't want this font, I want to change the font, then the size become this, then the blue and the spacing. So I just did that all by myself. And I just created a skin that I like. And then 1 year later was when I bought the domain and then I started to migrate things over. Yeah, so I didn't really go into it very strategically. I think it was really more of my work just resonated. And even in the subsequent articles that I wrote, I didn't even think of how do I maintain this momentum. After a while, I was like, oh, so many people reading my words. Yeah, I thought this was only for myself and my friends. Yeah, I only share on my Facebook. I didn't expect my Facebook friends to go and share with their colleagues and share with their friends. So I was just responding to reader comments. So I remember, I think the second article was actually, my memory is really a bit fuzzy, but I remember in the first few articles, right, one of it was how to say no to expensive friends.
Wow.
want that title.
Because a lot of people were commenting that, hey, but then social, how do you do it? Your friends always go out, my friend always show me go cafe. So I say like, oh yeah, then there are tricks ma. Like one of them is you organize lah. You don't wait for someone to organize, you organize. Then you get to set where to go. And if you don't want to go to an outside place because it's expensive, you can always do like a potluck at home and tell everyone, let's do a potluck, everyone bring something. So I was sharing all of those on an article because quite a few readers asked me that question in the first blog.
Is it like a pattern recognition thing? Like you see a lot of comments about this topic, then you get
Yes.
a sense
So
of
if I see a lot of people asking the same question, I'm like, I think that's something that I can add value in. I can share how I did it, and then I would just say how I personally did it. Yeah, and then I also remember there was another one whereby, so there was how to say, then the parents one. Right, so people are asking, how do you give your parents pocket money? Yeah, and still save. So I had an article talking about that, and I also later on that developed into how you can use CPF to give your parents pocket money. And then you get tax benefits
Yes,
also.
yes.
So it was very organic, to be very fair. Yeah, I know there are others after me who have been very strategic about what they write in order to go viral, but I'm not that side.
So you're just building on top one another, and I would say the inspiration that goes to you is never ending because you got so much feedback.
Correct. A lot of the work I do is all based on feedback. So when my readers tell me something or ask me something, and if I see enough of it, and I get tired of explaining myself over and over again, it just naturally makes more sense to write into a blog post or a video nowadays lah. And then I just send it.
Interesting. Now that you have written like potentially thousands of blogs, right? I do think that writing is super powerful, right? Now, what have you learned from writing?
Finding your style.
Finding your style.
I think every writer has a voice. And some writers, their voice is very prominent and others less so. And if your voice is not that distinct, then you will very quickly be outdone by tools like ChatGPT and all the bots and stuff lah. So I'll give an example. J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter growing up, you just couldn't replicate. Because her writing style and the imagination is just so distinct. She says things in a certain way. Today, in finance, Morgan Jose, right? Well, the way he writes is like, I don't even know how to pinpoint it, but everyone who reads his books can feel that tone and that distinctiveness. Adam Grant, also very distinctive. So if you look at a lot of the big writers, it is because their voice is very distinctive. So for me, a huge part of it was finding my voice and tweaking that over the years to be true to who I am, but yet delivering to readers and feedback. So like for instance, I tend to be I can be very long-winded sometimes. So I learned how to distill. I don't really use a lot of emotions or storytelling in the beginning. But I learned that actually stories, people like stories and they remember stories. So if my intention is I want them to remember something and walk away from this article, I need to put in a relevant story in. So I started incorporating that into my articles. And I would really just look at feedback and change as I went along.
I think one of the things you're sharing with Chloe that you actually have a full-time job and you still have a full-time job today, right? I'm just curious to know, how has your schedule changed? You're a parent of two, right? Like how's your schedule? Like you're writing 9 years ago, right? Were you working during the day, coming back during the night? Do you lock yourself in a room to write? What's that dirty, not sexy?
A day in my life kind of video, right? A day in my life kind of reel back then would be I go to work and then when I knock off at 6, I would go and maybe go for a short date with my husband or eat or do something small, and then I would write from 8 to 10.
Wow. Is it really 2 hours solid every day?
It depends on the difficulty of the article and the topic, but I was writing quite regularly back then. And I was putting out 1 article every week minimally, if not 2 to 3. It was just because there were so many things in the comments that I had to address, so very naturally, just writing it. And then weekends, either go on dates with my boyfriend, / husband now, or I would write. Today, my weekends are burnt, right? Yes, with the kids. So I don't really get that luxury, but when my in-laws or the grandparents are able to help manage the kids, that's where I squeeze all my writing. So I tend to squeeze my writing into 1 day or half a day on the weekend, depending on who can help. So on the weekdays itself, then I tried to write after work, but I found that as my kids got older, it's hard. Because when they were a baby, you could just pass them off to the grandparents or the helper, and they don't know anything. But as they grow older, they will come to me, like the first thing they do when they walk through the door, I'm not even done working yet. They'll be like, Mommy, Mommy, and then they want to talk. They want to spend time, Mommy, can you shower me? Can you feed me? Even though they can do the things themselves, they just want to
They
be
want you
pampered.
to be there.
Yeah, correct, right? So then and they're only young ones, so I will go and help them. I'll do these things for them, spend some time. And then nowadays also on evenings, sometimes there are events or things that I have to go for, right? When you're doing these, there are client events and stuff lah. So things do pop up. So I'll go for that. So it's very hard for me to write on weekends these days. Yeah, unless I really don't have anything. And when I mean anything, it could be my kids also, because they have some weekday classes. Right? I have to bring them for swimming. Right, and then I also try to squeeze in my own exercise. I also want to run and do my stuff, right? So it's really very hard. So honestly, a lot of my writing, I've learned to become more productive in the sense that I will plan out first, so that when I actually sit down in front of my laptop to write, then I am faster.
You know exactly what to do, right?
Yes, exactly. And I don't spend some time, like in the past, I had the privilege and the luxury to just like struggle with writer's block. I can say if I just struggle a bit, then I think today cannot lah, or I get over it, then I continue writing. I don't have that privilege nowadays, man. When I sit down and write, I must have zero writer's block.
The pressure is on.
Yes, because I only have this like 3 hours to complete before my kid come home. Right? So I will do that.
So when it comes to the specific writing session, you mentioned about planning, right? I think like some writers use templates, some writers consolidate that. How does it look like for you? Because it feels like to me, for an inexperienced writer, right, writing is a very messy thing. Like maybe you are like scared of just looking at a blank piece of paper, right? What is really going through your mind? Do you have like sections here and there? Could you share with us the unsexy things of like putting things together? Because like some writers would say, oh, you write first, don't edit, you edit in previous days, or you look at it 24 hours later. Like, what's that process like for you?
So for me, the planning looks like, what is the title? And sometimes I can't come up with the title up front, right? Or it's not sexy. I'm all over it. I can come back later. Okay, so I'll just come up with a title first. Then I will know what I want to cover in the article. So I will know roughly what are the headers or the sub-headers that I want to cover. So I will go in with, when I actually sit down, these will already be like in my head. All I do is put it in, and then I will just fill up the paragraphs. Yeah, so when you do have a skeleton of sorts, it really helps. But what the template is varies all the time. Because if you need to create a post on, let's say, a more complex topic versus something that's simpler, your headers also differ, right? If you use stuff that has a bit more foreign language, like or terminologies, you need to explain a little bit more, give some context. Yeah, so sometimes like one of the headers could be quite often background. Yeah, or why you need to do this, why is this important? So stuff like that, and that really frames how I would approach the writing. But I think it's really more of just knowing as a writer what you want to achieve with this post. Like, what is this post about? Is it just to raise awareness, or is it to spur people into behavioral change? Okay, like for instance, when year end, or when you say you're talking about income taxes, right? So when I write an income tax article, it's not just about awareness. Awareness is you go to IRA's website, you also know what, right? But what I want to achieve is to make you realize that, oh my gosh, I should really go and put this into the calculator now and do these moves to reduce my tax bill. So it's about spurring or inspiring you into action. So then how I write will differ. It's not just about, here are 10 things that you can do to reduce your income tax. Okay, actually that's a pretty decent title. But it is just like, here lor, whack. But there's no motivation. So the motivation comes in because I realized like what will make you do it, right? I had to tell you, you save money. You don't want to save money, you want to pay government more tax so you can get away with less tax.
No one says that.
Yeah, no one, right? But if you want to pay less tax, you need to make the action now. So I will actually use, convey that in the writing because I know this is to spur into action. But some others is just informational, right? Like when in August, when the yen carry trade collapsed, that was just explaining how did it collapse and why was the market so red. That's it. There is no action or inspiration after that. If anything, it's more of don't touch things that you don't understand. Right? So then that would come out in the conclusion. But the headers then would just be like, what is the yen carry trade? How did it happen? How did it blow up so badly? Yeah, so that would be the frameworks that I use.
Got it. Looking back at all the articles you have written over the past 11 years, right? Like, I mean, there's so many what stands out to you? Like we have written so many, right? Like if you were to choose, let's say the top 5 articles, would that be an easy thing for you to do?
Oh, very hard leh. Actually, I'm a bit biased. I like every single piece.
That's the right answer.
That's the right answer. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't put out a piece until I'm satisfied with it. Yeah, and when over the years, like I think in the 3rd or 4th year onwards, then brands started to approach me to write pieces together, right? And I have actually walked away from some whereby we write halfway or even the full draft is out. And then they come back with the comments and I disagree.
Oh,
A very common one is because when you work with marketing folks, right?
They want you to say certain. Yeah, how do you balance that?
They only want the good things.
Yeah.
They never want you to say the bad things. Right? And they always want to say, we're the best. I'm like, there is no the best. It is the best for you. And I need to make that very clear to the readers. Okay, you can say you're the best credit card. But like if the person don't even shop at the merchants that your card is good for, it's a pointless card. And you need me to be able to say that, right? But they won't. They say like, no, you must say we're the best. Okay, so I have actually walked away from those. And it takes a lot of, it's hard.
Because you're walking away from a lot of money.
And imagine the work is done.
The work is done.
The draft is out. Yeah, and then because we cannot agree, I will fight it first, right? But if they really insist on doing it a certain way and I cannot get my way through, I'll just be like, you know what? Luckily, I have my full-time job. I don't need this money. I can walk away. Yeah, so I will walk away. And then sometimes later on, that will still become a post, but I will edit it. I remove the brand.
Still use it.
Yeah, I will still use it later on.
When it comes to, I think the point of, let's say, setting expectations with potential clients, right, is something that I'm not sure Chloe have a lot of experience, but like it's when you want someone, like when someone's paying you something, then they want you to say something, right? Like how do you go around negotiating that? Because I feel like it's also fortunate that you have a full-time job, right? Is it like when you work with clients, that's how you work? Are you this upfront or?
I am. Yeah, but to be fair, I learned over the years also lah. I think everyone, when you first start and you don't know much and you're less confident, you'll be more willing to bow over for the client. But as you go, you continue doing, you will start to understand your own worth. And really understanding, I realized that the reason why my conversions are so high. So I've had feedback over the years, right? And I've had clients who engage me versus, let's say, another lifestyle influencer with way more following than me, like more than 10, 20 times.
It's more of the quality of followers.
Yes. Then I realized the clients like to use the follower count, but it doesn't say much.
It's sometimes a vanity metric.
Yes. And now I know that my value is in the conversion. Because I learned from my conversations with my readers and the outcome of campaigns, and I've seen for myself that when there is a budget paid endorsement, people really act. If I say this card is good, they will really go and sign up. So I literally, like, if I do that kind of stuff, I'm like the top, I'm the top referral or the second top. Yeah, because I'm so freaking selective. Yeah, and then I realized if that is what makes me unique, and I like it, all the more I should continue. I don't have to bow over for those that are not really as aligned. Or those that, you're good, but not the best. And there are really better ones. It's very hard for me to make a case for you. Then I will be like, you know what? I really don't need this money. And I'll walk away. So because I've done that, I think your track record speaks for itself. My readers have seen me. A lot of them have followed me for years. So even the new ones, they may not be familiar with me, but they will either hear things or as the next incident happen, I will talk about it more, right? So then they will see that I really actively walk away. So this year, for instance, I walk away from a deal that offered me 5 digits. It was a very lucrative deal, but I just couldn't do it. Yeah, I just couldn't because it was there were some issues, and I felt that it would do my readers worse because there's a lot more things that you have to be very careful about if you're going to touch that. And I was looking at how other people were doing those ads for it, and they're like, you're just saying the good things and not what you need to be careful for, and it really is quite difficult. It could blow up in your face. So I refused. And even though the client, it was quite funny, like they sent 5 different people after me,
5 people?
Yeah, like so many different agencies, and then from the client itself, and I was like, why you keep emailing me? I already say no, right? Then after a while, just like that, then I'll post on my IG and say like, I'm not gonna name who, but like this is exactly why I don't want to do it because this, and people see that and they remember. So when I then make a recommendation,
it's true and what you really think about it.
Correct. Yeah, and they know that they can trust me to say really like as it is, the pros and cons. So if I promote a credit card and they ask, is this really the best? I will never reply, you should get it, it's the best. No, I'll say like, it's great if you...
Certain conditions, depending on your profile demographic, where you are in life.
Correct. Yeah. So I'll be very upfront. But you see, most people will be like, yeah, go sign up. Use my affiliate code. I'm like, no. No. If it's not great for you, no. There was this one time where there was this credit card that was giving really great affiliate rewards. I refused. I didn't want to do it. A lot of people were doing it. Okay. And to be fair, there was a reason to do it. If you like the rewards, then you go for it. But my stance was, this is going to end in December 2024. You only have a few months to milk it. Like, let's be real, we're all busy people. Are you going to go through that trouble to sign up for a card? Yeah, like SingPass, but still, it's a card in your wallet. You need to activate. Then after that, you need to remember to call and waive the annual fee. Then you need to remember to cancel it after that so that you don't get hit with all these recurring fees, right? And then I was like, is it really worth it for these few months of rewards? Let's be very real and calculate. I'm like, no, it's not. So my stance was like, I wouldn't go and get this card. I understand the headline rate is very good, very attractive, but look at the fine print. If it didn't say December 2024, maybe still got a case. But let's be real, we're all busy. If you are like a very young and free person, go ahead lah. But most of my audiences are parents also what? We have no time to do this kind of thing. And the honest thing is, because we have no time, we forget. The banks earn all the fees.
That's true.
Right? So me recommending it and knowing that my readers will forget will actually be worse for them. So I refuse to do stuff like that. But it's me walking away from money lah. So some people say, why you're so silly? Then I'm like, actually, luckily I have a job. I don't need this money. But I really believe in the long term, it's all these things.
It's a goodwill.
Yes. And people appreciate it. So when I actually started doing my e-commerce this year, because I didn't even intend to do it, because I'm a writer, right? I'm not a salesperson. And I was just telling you earlier on before this podcast, I don't like to sell. Yeah, I prefer people buy from me, but I would never hard sell anything, right? And when my readers saw how I lost 20 kg, like they literally saw with their own eyes because I was
shrinking.
Yeah, shrinking on my IGS, right? And my pictures were getting smaller and smaller. So they all wanted to know what I took. And what I took is a product that has to be direct sales. Yeah, so it's not like a brand that you can walk into Watsons and just buy, right? If it was, then I just get a brand to endorse me lah, right? They sponsor me lifetime, great. But it's not. It's direct sales. So I was very torn, but then my husband said, you should do it. You should go and sell since your readers want to buy because they will want to buy from you. And he said like, you have been doing so much work for your readers. Like, why don't you let them support you? They're like, but I don't want to take their money. I take advertisers' money lah. Then he say, no, like, if I'm your reader, I want to support you because it's something that I want. It's not you force me. Like,
it's helpful for them.
Yes, correct. For those who need it lah. So I'm like, okay, I try. And I realized like, really a lot of people supported me because they were thankful for the work that I did or the impact I had in their finances, right? But there's no way for them to repay me. This is their way. Yeah, so I was like, wow, it's very amazing. And I think that it accumulates, man.
It reminds me of the podcast you have with Kelvin now. With great power comes with great responsibility.
I love that line, Spider-Man.
Because I think one thing that's fascinating, you are still having a full-time job, right? And then obviously, like, when did it come a point of time, right, where you felt that it could be really financially viable for you? Like, how many years in? Like 3 years in, 4 years in? You talk about the first experience of you getting a sponsorship or probably getting hurt by some of these people who sponsor you, right? When do you know it was like, I can actually earn quite a significant portion of my income from writing itself?
I think, to be fair, it was probably in the 6 or 7 year in.
Wow, that's patience. Wow.
Yeah, but it was also because it was a change of the times. Like in the past, you must realize that in those days, really people only sponsor the lifestyle and beauty travel influencers. Nobody, there isn't even the term influencers, so it was, and in the early days, it was only certain, even the financial brands were very conservative. Yeah, they don't run a lot of ads and sponsored stuff. So as times change and people realize that you need to engage on social media, right? Then as the money started shifting in, away from traditional media into social media, then I was like, oh, it's actually starting to get like quite comparable to my day job. But I think the really aha moment for me was when the work salaryman who came out after me, they were able to quit both their jobs, not one, both their jobs and sustain and hire people. So that's when you know it's viable now because they're making so much money that they can actually feed 4 people. Or are they 5 now? I also don't know already. Yeah, so that was when I realized, hey, actually can be done. But then the next question I was, then do I want to do it? Do I want to quit and do full time? Yeah, but my challenge is I would love to, so I have more time, but I like my job as well.
Yeah, I see I feel like that's the biggest gift, right? You love what you do at your job, but you still love writing about finance.
Yes, yeah. So eventually I decided, I mean, to be very real about it, I struggle with this every day. I really keep thinking, should I just like do full time? But I also realized, like, number one, if I do full time, I will miss my job. Because I really do quite enjoy it, right? And number two, I really also feel that I can add value at the workplace as well. It's just in different ways. And number three, I think it's a safety net. Yeah, because I have my full-time job, I'm not as hard up for a lot of the brand.
And you can turn a lot of people away.
I turn a lot away. And I can state my stand without worrying so much about repercussion. I can just say, I don't want to do this. Yeah, take it or leave it. And I will really walk away. Like, usually some people say, take it or leave it, but they don't mean it one. They're like, come back. I'm like, no, I will not come back. Bye. I really walk away. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier about writer's block, right? And I think for you, you say it's true, right? How do you overcome that?
These days, honestly, I feel ChatGPT, there's no such thing as writer's block.
Oh, okay. So how does ChatGPT help you?
Because you can prompt. I know how I use ChatGPT. When I write, right? Sometimes what I do is I have a statement, a sentence, but I can't complete it because writer's block. So I'll just say in ChatGPT, complete this sentence for me. And it really gives me what I want. In my words. Yeah, because I did create the GPT with I fed it all my blog articles. So it knows the language and the tone that I use also. So the things that they give me is quite on
point.
Yeah, quite on point. But I still have to edit. It's still not perfect. Yeah, but I'm able to overcome writer's block very easily now with ChatGPT. In the past, it was about reading. The more one reads, the less of a writer's block you have.
So I assume, definitely, right? I think you mentioned upon reading. Over the past 11 years, you've read so many books, right? I'm just curious to know, what are your Dawn's greatest of all time books?
I feel if I had to, my favorite of course is the Bible. Oh. And I mean the Warren Buffett Bible, not the literal Bible. I mean the Graham book. Okay, the Graham book. Yeah, what's the title again? The Art of Value Investing.
Is it the brown one?
No, the red one.
Oh, red one.
Actually, I haven't read that book yet.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't read that
It
book.
is
But
very
I know
good.
that's Bible for Warren. Yeah. And I heard actually mainly we just need to focus on chapter 7 and chapter, is it 10? For that book.
The Intelligent Investor, is it?
Oh yes,
The Intelligent
correct,
Investor.
correct,
okay,
yes,
okay.
the Intelligent
Yeah,
Investor,
yeah.
yes, correct. Yeah, that's the Bible of investing. Yeah, but to be fair, it is not an easy read.
Yeah.
I had to read it 2 or 3 times to really digest it, and some of the things inside are not as relevant anymore. Yeah, so I think if I had to recommend a book to people now, I feel Morgan Housel is the best finance writer of our time.
Wow, okay.
Because
That's a big statement.
you won't go, he doesn't go so much into depth. So it's not like the Intelligent Investor, which is very technical. But he's all about mindset, inspiration, stories, and the emotions you get from reading his work. Yeah, and I feel everyone should really read The Psychology of Money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's number 2.
Yes, and then, no, that's number 1. Then he has number 2, which I forgot what's the title. What's the title again? Also something money. I know the second one is more about the mindsets. And it's like every chapter is a story. Yeah, it's like a circle loop thing, which I thought was very insightful. And now he's writing number 3.
Have you read William Green's Richer, Wiser, Happier?
No.
You will like it.
Okay,
Yeah.
search
I
for
love
that
it
book
so
after
much. It's also about mindset, general, like the investor's life and all this, and the values that they have, more than just the investing technicals. Yeah, it's very nice book.
Okay. Yeah, I will check that out.
Yes.
I think another one that is great is anything that Howard Marks writes.
Okay.
What does he write? Sorry, I'm not sure.
He writes the letters for his
Yes.
fund, but he also does have a book.
Yeah,
called
he has.
The Most Important Thing.
Correct, the most important thing.
Yeah, and I love the way he writes. Every chapter ends with the most important thing. Oh, it's like such a nice, way of communicating your ideas.
I'm just curious, how do you read? Do you really go start to finish, or do you just pick ideas?
I start to finish on it.
Oh, you start to
yeah,
finish
very old
it.
school.
Oh,
Yeah, and I don't do audiobooks or Bling or that kind of summary. I really read.
school read lah.
Yeah, from front to end one.
Would you ever give up on the book? Let's say you read until like maybe 2 chapters, you felt like it's not very interesting. Would you continue, or you actually persist
I think in this time, like there's so many books out there, and I'm sure you read so much, and I think there are some books that are probably not so good, and there are some books that are better. Like, so yeah, how do you?
I will still finish everything, but the difference is if I think the book isn't that great, I will still give it a chance lah, right? But I will skim read the rest of it.
If you were to write a book, what would you write about?
I have actually.
Oh, you have? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's just that it's with my editors now.
Oh, so when is it going to get published?
Next year.
Oh,
Yeah, it's in the
do you mind giving a
editing phase.
teaser?
So it's actually again it's based on feedback, right? So my readers are saying, Dawn, you have a lot of great content, but it's all over the place. I just followed you yesterday, or like I just know of you. Where do I start? And they're very lost. Right, so
Yeah,
I always
there's
tell
so
them,
much on your website actually. Yeah.
Yeah, there is, but how do you navigate, right? So I realized that in order to navigate, you also need to know the right questions to ask. But when you're a beginner, you don't know what you don't know. So you don't even know what questions to ask. So I decided, so some of them were saying like, is there a very structured front to end? I say like, wow, I don't have such a thing. Like, I mean, for investing have, like a course, but personal finance, don't really have. So I decided, okay, actually a lot of people asking me, I would write one. Yeah, so it's like a roadmap. It's basically everything that I've done on my blog, the different tenets of financial rules and things to live by, and I put that into a book. But beyond just reiterating, because honestly, a lot of these is not, nowadays a lot of it is more known already. In back then it wasn't, right? But nowadays so many people say it that it's become more and more known. So what I've done is to really focus on the inspiring people to really understand. So like I said earlier on, I weave in stories of my readers, of my friends, to really hopefully resonate with some of them. And I weave in examples, and it really is a roadmap to make them realize. And hopefully, the one takeaway, they will get two takeaways, which is one is how do you, if you are today starting from zero, how do you get in control of your money? Yeah, to really go through the whole thing and then invest for the long term. So it brings them from zero to hero. Of course, it's not going to make you an overnight expert in investing. Okay, but it will get you there so that you know what to do next. And then like the next thing I hope that they will realize is you need to take control of your own finances, because you really cannot leave it up to someone else.
You can't trust people.
Not trust lah.
Trust the
the best person who cares the most about your money is yourself.
Yeah, no one will care more about you than you care about yourself in
Correct.
general. Yeah,
Correct.
finances is just one aspect of it.
Correct. Yeah. So that's the two overarching messages of the book that I hope to convey.
Like, what was the writing process like? Yeah, like I'm sure it took a while. There's so much resources. Like, yeah, how was it easy, difficult, easier than anticipated? How was it like?
I had the idea in my head for a really long time because of my readers. But I think the hard part was first structuring, again, like the structure, right? So coming up that table of contents. And to be fair, I struggled with it for the longest time because I didn't have the time to just sit down and think.
When you're so busy.
Yes, correct. So the miraculous part was, I was actually on the plane. Airplane mode. Nothing to do. I don't watch movie. I usually watch movie then fall asleep. But no, I didn't watch the movie. I took out and I started thinking. And within one or 2 hours, my seatmate was sleeping. So when she woke up, I was like, hey, I'm done. She was like, what? They're like, yeah, you see? I said, what do you think? She's like, yeah, not bad. So based on that, then I tweaked the table of contents a few more times. I think for 1 whole month, I kept going back and forth on the table of contents to make it better and better. And then finally, I started writing. Yeah, and as I started writing, I still shifted some stuff. Yeah, because I felt like, oh, maybe, yeah, actually this is good, but I feel the organization can be better. So I changed the way that I split the book up into different parts. Yeah, the way I organize the content.
Wow, when will it be ready?
Yeah, released.
Yeah,
I
early.
I also want it early, but my publisher did say it would take them quite a few months at least to get from manuscript to publish on the shelves. So I suspect it will be mid next year. So late Q2 or Q3.
Okay, looking forward.
Yeah,
Next
let
time
you
we
guys know
can
when
get her
it's
to
out.
sign her own copy of the book.
Yeah, I was actually very hesitant about this, but like what my husband said you keep telling everybody your childhood dream to be an author. Now the opportunity come knocking on your door and you don't want? Yeah. Because I was telling him, I'm very busy this year, no time. Then next year, my kid primary 1, I got so many things to prepare him for. How to? Then he said, opportunity come, just do it. Wow. Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'll find a way to do it.
Wow, I think your husband has been so supportive.
I mean, your husband has been like at the moment where he sort of asked you to write finance. So it's sort of like the inception, right? So on that note, I know it's a very random question I always ask. Any relationship advice do you have for, let's say, a younger person like me? I say, what have you learned? I know it's maybe personal, but relationship tips that you can give in terms of couples, because I'm not sure if readers will also tell you there are troubles of sorts, right? What have you learned from being in a relationship and having a family?
I feel your spouse will need to be someone who can bring out your better self. Yeah, I feel a partnership is really just okay. So first of all, I don't believe in just love, and this was really because when I was young, my older relatives told me, love will not last. Yeah, right. Yeah, they say actually it's just lust. It's not even love. Then the lust will
Eventually,
way
off.
Yeah. So what is left is actually friendship. So can you talk to the person? Do you enjoy spending time? Can you communicate? Then and more importantly, as you walk life together, can you grow together? So I think in a relationship, it's very important to have someone who supports you and also to be there when things change. Because to be fair, we had our fair share of different moments and challenges in our career and life. And it's really about like supporting each other through. So we have a very good tech team dynamic going, whereby this year I was very busy. So he actually stepped back on his work to support so that I can go and do these things. And then last time also, when he was very busy, I stepped back on my stuff and I toned down other things in order to support him on the kids and stuff so that he can go and do his stuff. So we really were tech team and we give each other a heads up. And I think that dynamic is very, very powerful. It's something I also learned through my own past relationships, right? Because like I have dated guys who were not that happy when I succeed. Yeah, and I've dated ex-boyfriends who were quite MCPs.
So
Right?
what's
Like,
MCPs?
oh, you don't know? You don't? You don't know? MCP, male chauvinist pig. In the sense that, okay, it's a colloquial term for describing a man who cannot accept that women are better or more successful than him.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had my fair share of dating men like that.
Is it like a competition of sorts, is it?
Yeah, so the man has always their ego, they need to be better, but my husband's not like that. Yeah, so meeting him after dating a few folks like that was really a breath of fresh air, and we really spur each other to grow. So we have a lot of conversations about growth and experimenting and testing out, and then he helps give me this advice as you hear, and I also do give him career advice and different stuff to try out, and we really learn and grow a lot together. I think that's very important because at the end of the day, right, the relationship, I feel I really believe in you want to walk long term with that person, you really just got to enjoy spending time with that person. And there will be, of course, times when we are annoyed with each other, obviously.
Yeah, every
right?
couple has it.
Yeah, every couple has it. But do you then communicate to get over it, to address it, and then continue supporting each other? I think very important is the spouse must be supportive of and genuinely happy for you when you break through or when you succeed, and really support you at pivotal moments. Because if not for my husband supporting me, right, a lot of things I really cannot do one. Then the blog would never have existed.
Yeah, that's why.
Right?
It's
Yeah,
it's
because
such
he
a
pushed.
pivotal moment.
Right? He always say he's like budget hung. But he made this happen. So yeah, he pushes at the right direction. The book would also never have materialized if not for his push. Yeah, so a lot of these, really he pushes me for it.
Wow, that's great. All right, one last question, right? In 1 year's time, what tangible events will need to happen to Budget Babe to make it the best year ever? But I think I know the answer to that, maybe.
Yeah, I think you also know the answer.
Yeah.
What's the answer?
Book, the launch of the book.
Bestseller. Not just launch, must be bestseller. I do hope that every Singapore household eventually
Wow.
will have a copy of the book. Whether I get there, I don't know right? Maybe some people will be like, no lah, she's written by a woman, I don't want to write. Okay, fine. But I do hope that this will be a guidebook for a lot of people, because I made it really one that you can pick up and you don't need anyone teaching you, because you can learn everything from the book itself. And from there, you will be equipped enough to go out there to seek the resources or the people or the professionals that you need and be able to tell when they are smoking you. So I hope that this book will really change a lot of people's lives.
All right, on that note, I'm pretty sure it will. We'll definitely give a shout out. I'm sure Chloe will give a very big shout out when the book announces. So I'm very excited to hear more about the book, really. Where else can people find about you?
So I'm on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and also my blog, sgbudgetbreak.com. And my handle is just sgbudgetbreak.
All right, Dawn, thanks so much for coming here. It's been a great fun talking to you.
Yeah.
I love all the stories that you share, and I'm sure we'll catch you in the book launch.
Yes!
Looking
Like,
forward
that's a
next
book
year. Next year we will help to shout out, and most importantly, remember to support when the book is out.
Yeah. For those of you guys who have not watched Chloe podcast, please be sure to watch this video over here. She goes through more in detail in terms of the journey and a lot of things about finances as well, and Dawn's story and how she really created the content that she has and the experience and lessons that she has done. So be sure to watch the other podcast, and I'll see you in the next one.